It happened so suddenly. My girlfriend, let's call her Sarah, was just messing around with her phone. She accidentally started a live video on her social media. I was in the living room, and in the background, you could clearly hear a man's voice call out her name. "Sarah, will you kiss him too?" the voice asked. Sarah quickly replied, "Nope. I make $1 million a year, he's just my dog." I couldn't help but feel a sharp pang of hurt. I let out a small, bitter laugh and tossed the engagement ring, a pink diamond, onto the coffee table. Then, I picked up my phone and texted my dad. "Dad, I've decided I'll go through with the arranged marriage." I followed that up with another text. "Also, please fire Sarah from the company." Next, I called our wedding planner. "Hi, it's about the wedding in 10 days. We need to change the bride's name. Yes, it's someone else now. I'd like to discuss the details in person as soon as possible." I hung up just as Sarah came out of the bathroom. Her hair was still damp, and she was wrapped in a robe, looking like she'd just had a long, hot shower. Usually she was out in half an hour, but today it had been a full hour. She glanced at her laptop, which she'd forgotten to close. She quickly shut it and looked at me with a frown. "Who were you on the phone with?" she asked. I decided to be honest. "It was the wedding planner." She seemed to relax, probably thinking I hadn't seen her messages. She knew that if I had seen them, I would have demanded that her assistant, let's call him Mark, be fired, just like in the old days. Mark had been Sarah's assistant for about a year. He was fresh out of college, full of energy, and she seemed to really like him. She often had him work overtime and took him on business trips. Jealousy had been eating away at me, causing a lot of arguments between Sarah and me. Eventually, she had reluctantly agreed to marry me. "The wedding is in 10 days. No need to worry," Sarah said casually, trying to hide her excitement. She probably thought I had called to make sure everything was perfect, as I always did during our 5 years together. I always meticulously planned everything to make her happy. Guess not, I thought. She's marrying someone even more detail-oriented than me. That thought brought a bittersweet smile to my face. Sarah, looking a bit annoyed, flicked her damp hair. In the past, I would have lovingly dried it for her after every shower, but now I just couldn't bring myself to do it. "Sorry, got stuff to handle. Do it yourself," I said. Sarah paused, a sharp tone creeping into her voice. "As a house husband, what's keeping you so busy? You're supposed to take care of me, remember?" A familiar pang of sadness hit me. 5 years ago, I had promised to take care of her. Now, not anymore. "I don't want to take care of you, Sarah," I said. With that, I grabbed my coat and left. I went back to my parents' house. I knelt in front of them. "Dad, Mom, I messed up. I'm agreeing to the family arrangement. Same wedding date, new bride." They looked stunned and asked what had happened with Sarah. I had cut ties and moved out 5 years ago. Recently, when they heard about my marriage plans with Sarah, they had intervened, suggesting a suitable match, the heiress of a large company, someone I had known since childhood. They thought she would be a much better fit for me than Sarah. I had refused, claiming Sarah was my true love. Yet Sarah had shattered my belief and broken my heart. "Son, are you sure about this arranged marriage? Don't you want to meet her first?" Mom asked, lifting me up with a concerned look. "No need. I trust your choice. At least I won't get hurt by love again," I replied. Late that night, Sarah called me. "I caught a cold because I didn't dry my hair. Could you bring me some medicine?" Her voice sounded soft on the other end, almost like she was offering a truce. Normally, her gentle tone could melt my resolve, but not this time. "You have an assistant. Let him bring the medicine," I said coldly. "I'm busy. Why bring him up? You're my husband. You should look after me." Her voice rose sharply. Over the past 5 years, she had often bossed me around, disrespecting my love while seemingly enjoying the attention of others. But I had been blind, believing her harshness was just a way of hiding her love for me. It wasn't until I saw her comparing me to Mark, calling me boring and him exciting, that I realized she only loved herself. "I told you I'm busy. Figure it out yourself," I said before hanging up. The next morning I went back to our apartment to pack my things. When I opened the door, I found Sarah on the sofa, looking at me with sheer disappointment. "You finally came back," she said, her face pale. She was clutching her stomach in pain. I sighed, thinking she must have been really upset last night. Her frequent stomach aches always flared up when she was stressed. Despite wanting to leave, I felt a pang of sympathy seeing her so vulnerable. I found the medicine box, grabbed some cold pills and a cup of water. "You didn't even check the box for medicine," I said, handing them to her. Before she could speak, a male voice interrupted. "Sarah, want sugar in your congee?" Mark, wearing an apron, stepped out from the kitchen. Seeing me, he hesitated, then forced a smile. "Oh, Nick, you're here. As if I was a guest in my own home," he quickly corrected himself. "You're back, Nick. Sarah's been in pain and asked for help." On the table, a medicine bag hinted that Mark had been there all along. I chuckled to myself, thinking my worries had been needless again. Sarah swallowed the pills with the water I brought. "Honey, your medicine works best," she said, leaning against me. "I waited for you last night, but asked my assistant this morning when I felt too sick. Just seeing you makes me feel better." She motioned for Mark to leave. "Go to work now," she said. She held my hand sincerely. "Honey, I was wrong yesterday. Can we start fresh?" It was rare for her to call me honey, especially when Mark was around. She knew I needed reassurance, but had never bothered to give it until now. Too late. Gently pulling my hand away, I stood up. "Rest up and don't overthink," I said. In the kitchen, I saw dishes for congee. Mark had been here last night. She had deceived me again. I checked my phone and saw Mark's social media post from last night once more. It was set to private, just for me. The boss is really having a tough time, working late and getting sick before the wedding. I brought her some medicine and a late-night snack. The picture showed him peacefully asleep, leaning on Sarah, giving a peace sign. If he really wants to move up so badly, let him have it, I thought. I went to the wedding planning company to discuss changing the bride. I was handling all the wedding arrangements, and Sarah hadn't even shown up, so it was easy to switch things around. When I got home, looking at our living room, the wedding photos felt a bit glaring. I took them down, along with our photos from over the years, packed them up, and got ready to throw them away. A pink card fell out of the album. It said, "Sarah always loves Nick." She had written that when she confessed her feelings for me 5 years ago. Looking back at the little moments from those years, I realized Sarah wasn't really into me. She loved her own interests and herself. Her love lacked respect. All my clothes and skincare had to be brands she liked. Even our rented apartment had to be decorated to her taste. For our wedding house, even though I oversaw the renovations, Sarah chose all the designs and furniture. I don't even like the French luxury style, but I had forced myself to like it for Sarah's sake. Over 5 years, I kept compromising for love, losing who I was, only to be met with disdain. I crumpled the card and threw it in the trash. "What are you doing?" Sarah's voice came from behind me. I glanced at the clock and realized it was already 7 p.m., her usual time to finish work. Today, no overtime or social engagements, just coming home early. I was a bit surprised and softly closed the box, tidying up the garbage. She looked around, noticing something missing in the living room. "Where's our wedding photo?" "Gave it to the wedding company for reference," I mumbled without looking up. "Oh," was all Sarah said before lifting the box in her hand. "Let's eat your favorite soup dumplings." I opened it to find shrimp dumplings. Seeing my hesitation, Sarah frowned and asked, "What's wrong?" I'm allergic to shrimp, I said, reminding her that she knew this and had just forgotten. Sarah's expression froze briefly, guilt flashing in her eyes. Sorry, I forgot. I'll go buy something else for you. With that, she took the box and left again. I took out my phone and wasn't surprised to see Mark's social media post. Ha! Boss brought me a loving overtime dinner, my favorite shrimp dumplings. So that was it. Mark liked them, and she had just given me an extra one. Sarah came home an hour later, this time with my favorite crab roe dumplings. Seeing me still packing, she gently said, You don't have to rush. Once we're married, we'll move to the new house together, and I'll help you sort through things. Just trying to toss some useless stuff, I said offhandedly. You always wanted to see the northern lights in Iceland for our honeymoon. I took a month off to go with you, Sarah offered. Seeing my lack of interest, she added, If it was before, I'd have spun her around joyfully, but now I knew I wouldn't be going at all. I said non-committally. Noticing me staring at the ripped calendar with a big red 5 on it, Sarah finally frowned. When did you get this countdown calendar? Bought it yesterday. In 5 days, it's the most important day of my life. Time to mark it, I replied plainly. Sarah's eyes lit up. Oh, 5 days till our wedding. How thoughtful. She kissed my cheek, but then her phone rang and her expression shifted after a glance. Honey, I need to deal with something at work. Gotta head back. I nodded, picking up the box to move it. I'll take the trash out. You stay in and rest, Sarah insisted eagerly before leaving. It wouldn't take much for her to peek inside and realize I was throwing out our wedding photo albums and her love card. If she saw, she'd know I intended to leave. If she knew, she'd certainly beg me to stay. But unfortunately, she didn't figure it out. Later at midnight, I saw Mark's post. Got a stomachache while working late. Glad the boss is here looking after me. In the picture, Sarah held medicine and water with her sleeves rolled up. Well, seems like those shrimp dumplings were the culprit. Good thing I didn't eat them, I thought. I met some old friends and drank a lot with them. Sarah had never allowed me to drink or have my own social circle. At last, I was free. I woke up with a hangover in the afternoon. Sarah walked in. Automatically started working late yesterday. Slept at the office, she said. She smelled the room and scrunched her nose. Where's the alcohol smell from? Drank a lot with friends yesterday, so I need to air the place out, I replied. Though displeased, she eyed my face but held her tongue. Yeah, she said. She can care for her assistant all night and lie to me. What right does she have to scold me? When she saw the bold 4 on the calendar, she remembered. In 2 days, it's your birthday. Anything you want? Her reminder made me recall my upcoming birthday. No, I don't want to celebrate. I echoed her words from before. On her birthday, I had a whole feast awaiting her, only to be scolded. I'm too busy for a birthday celebration. Then, later, Mark's post showed her making a birthday wish with a cake. She disliked celebrating with me. That day we fought, and I angrily asked whom her wish was for. She called me petty, saying it was just a pure thing she couldn't refuse. Recalling that, Sarah's eyes showed guilt. No way it's your last birthday before marriage. I must celebrate with you. She hugged me and lightly kissed my cheek. Hey, why aren't you wearing the watch I gave you last year? The watch was trashed the moment she stepped out yesterday, I said flatly. Sarah just nodded, asking no further questions. She had stayed up all night caring for their Mark, and then worked the entire day. Exhausted after a shower, she went straight to bed. At midnight, I tore another calendar page. 3 more days, and I'd be truly gone. I called the wedding planner, directing them to the new bride's location for her measurements and to pick out a wedding dress. My parents were urging me to meet with her beforehand. It's not like I haven't seen her. Seeing her at the wedding is fine, I replied casually. Sarah, who had overheard my conversation, seemed a bit upset. It's been 5 years. I haven't met your parents. Why did you decline for me? The daughter-in-law they want to meet isn't you, I wanted to say, but I opened my mouth and decided not to bother. Sarah opened up the wardrobe and was surprised. Why are all your clothes gone? I packed them up. It'll be easier to move to the new place, I answered nonchalantly. Sarah took out a jacket and hugged me. I took the day off. Tomorrow I'll spend your birthday with you at home. It was one of her rare acts of kindness. Sounds good. We got together 5 years ago on my birthday. Seems fitting to end it this way, I thought. On my birthday, the last day on the countdown, Sarah went grocery shopping with me, then got called away by a phone call. I knew without asking it was only Mark who could call her away at a time like this. I didn't confront her. I went home alone to start cooking. She promised she'd be back in 2 hours, but by the time I'd finished and eaten my part of the meal, she still wasn't back. I wiped my mouth, called my parents. Let's go. I'll go with you to check out the wedding venue. At the hotel where the wedding was booked, surprisingly, I saw Sarah. Mark was with her, wearing a suit. They were chatting and laughing like a couple. Don't misunderstand, honey. I'm just helping Mark. His date was getting clingy, so I pretended to be his sister to get her to back off, Sarah explained. I nodded. Getting tangled up and harassed like that must be annoying. You're his boss. You should protect your employee. Seeing that I wasn't causing trouble or jumping to conclusions, Sarah breathed a sigh of relief. I'll go with him upstairs. We'll meet up in a bit. Downstairs, Mark gave me a smile and thanked me. Then he went into the elevator first. The tie he wore was my favorite brand, the same one Sarah had put in her bag this morning. It should have been my birthday gift. Sarah hesitated for a moment, then followed him into the elevator. As the door closed, I felt like I was looking at a past version of myself in Mark. Back then, Sarah cared about me like that. If anyone tried to make a move on me, she'd be totally on edge. After showing my parents the venue and seeing them off, Sarah still hadn't come down. Remembering what she said earlier about meeting up, I texted her, "Are you done? When are you coming back?" She quickly sent me a voice message. When I played it, it was Mark's voice. "Nick, just head back. Sarah got into a fight with that woman, got her clothes dirty, and is showering now. She'll call you later." Hearing the water running in the background, I decisively took a cab home. "Nick, don't be mad. This is all my fault today. That woman didn't believe I was Sarah's brother and attacked her." Mark's voice, filled with false triumph, came through. I ignored him. After a while, Sarah called, scolding me. "I already explained. Why are you still holding on to this? Mark is struggling here alone as his boss. Why shouldn't I help him?" Mark's pitiful sobs came from the receiver. I took a deep breath, refusing to engage with his manipulations. "I understand. That's why I left, letting you be busy." I cut off Sarah's unfinished accusations and hung up. Just as I reached my place, after moving all my stuff out, I glanced at the cold remains on the dining table. I ripped off the last page from the countdown calendar, leaving a glaring 0 behind. On the way, I got a text from Sarah. "Honey, I bought a cake. Let's blow out the candles later." I didn't reply. "Honey, I've got the cake. Let's do the candles." When Sarah walked in, she found the place in darkness. She flicked on the light, saw the half-eaten meal on the table, alongside the conspicuous countdown 0. At that moment, panic surged in Sarah. She dropped the cake, searching desperately in every room for me, only to realize that I, along with all my possessions, had vanished. Sarah called and texted me frantically. "Honey, where did you go? Stop messing around." "Okay, I got your favorite mango cake. Please come back. We were supposed to celebrate together. Why didn't you wait for me?" I didn't respond. She still forgot I'm allergic to mangoes. The one who loves mangoes isn't me. It's Mark. When I got home, my parents had already asked the nanny to prepare dinner. My future wife, let's call her Lisa, and her family were there too. Nick, long time no see. Lisa, in her pink outfit, looked radiant and playful, greeting me. I smiled and nodded, feeling nostalgic. Tomorrow we were getting married, yet today was our first meeting in 10 years. She seemed unchanged since she was 17. After everyone sat down, they toasted, wishing me a happy birthday, and also congratulating Lisa and me on our upcoming marriage. I finished my drink, bowing to them. Uncle, thank you for your kindness. Lisa, thanks for all the effort you've put into the wedding preparations. Lisa smiled sweetly, shaking her head. Not at all. Nick, are you ready? My dad asked. This whole time, though we hadn't met, my parents had told me daily about Lisa's wedding efforts. They had even called her, asking if she was sure about marrying me. Lisa had laughed, saying she was happy to marry me. In that moment, I felt guilty. So I laid out my past 5 years with Sarah, the kind of love I had given, which made me feel unworthy of love in return. I told them that if Lisa wasn't aware of my situation, we could cancel the wedding. I had agreed to this arranged marriage with my parents in a wave of heartbreak and anger, even with a bit of revenge in mind, wanting to see Sarah lose her composure after getting dumped, wanting to see her cry and plead for me to come back. By then, I would ask if she regretted her earlier words. Yet I realized these weren't reasons to misuse or harm Lisa. After hearing me out, Lisa wasn't surprised. Instead, she comforted me. She said, I kinda know my own situation. Someone told me never to feel inferior for loving someone wholeheartedly. If you weren't treated well, it's not your fault. It's just that person wasn't worthy, like the universe helping you find someone better. I was surprised and touched. In the end, she said, Nick, I'm willing to marry you. I'm the one who's worthy of you, and I'll prove it. Thinking this, I knew I couldn't let her down anymore. Yeah, I'm ready, I said. Just because I've been hurt, I can't stop believing in love. After Lisa's family left, I checked my phone. There were dozens of new messages from Sarah. Nick, I thought you moved to the new house, but you weren't there. Is this some joke? Are you going to show up at the wedding tomorrow and surprise me? You promised to love only me in this lifetime. Are you backing out? She had finally realized that if I left, she wouldn't find me easily. Over the past 5 years, she had rarely met my friends or introduced me to hers, probably thinking I wasn't worth showing off. Back then, besides being nice and fresh to her, I didn't have much to offer. I had met Sarah 5 years ago at my dad's company. I had just graduated from college, hiding my identity, and was working at the grassroots level. Sarah was my team leader. She was diligent, sincere, and matched her vibrant look with an unyielding personality. When a project I followed up went south, and someone had to take the fall, I was chosen as the newest, softest target. No background, naive, the perfect scapegoat. But Sarah stood up for me, even went to the chairman, my dad, who admired her courage and promised an investigation. That night, I asked Sarah why she helped me. Smiling, she said she thought I was a bit silly, a nice guy who didn't deserve to be bullied. I was touched, but recalled what my dad had said. Sarah had gotten criticized by senior executives for her lack of tact and was considered not suitable for the company. Even if we found the real culprit, she'd still be fired. I begged my dad to keep her, at the cost of agreeing to go abroad to find Lisa. Eventually, the real villain was the department manager trying to set me up. I got fired anyway, but Sarah got promoted for her suggestion, a huge step for her. Sarah was thrilled and only invited me to dinner. That day was also my birthday. I asked her why she spoke up for me. Smiling, she downed her drink, saying it was because she liked me. The loud music seemed to stop, and I only heard my heart beating fiercely. Nick, would you be my boyfriend? Before I could answer, Sarah, a bit tipsy, kissed me. That kiss didn't bother me. It made me fall completely. I broke my promise and defied my dad, leading to our fallout. From then on, no industry company would hire me. My dad's way of forcing me to apologize and go abroad. Unaware of the situation, Sarah urged me to let her earn the money while I stayed by her side to take care of her. We started a sweet cohabitation. It was good at first, but once Mark appeared, things changed, and we started arguing frequently until Sarah got tired and gave in. Would you trust me if I married you? That's how we set the wedding date, and I finally understood she was marrying me not out of love. Unable to sleep late at night, I once again saw Mark's post. Playing the fake room today, trying on suits with the boss. Ha ha ha. In the picture, Sarah in a wedding dress was hand in hand with Mark in a white suit, looking like a perfect couple. I suddenly thought, why not help her? I picked up the phone and called the wedding company. The next day's ceremony went smoothly. Lisa's family and friends didn't make it difficult for me. Everything favored my side, and the process concluded quickly. Once at the hotel, standing on the stage with Lisa, the banquet hall doors swung open. Sarah, also in a white wedding dress, appeared before me. Seeing me with another bride, disbelief filled her face as she almost crushed the flowers in her hand. Nick, wasn't today our wedding day? I waited for you all morning and they said you were here. Who is she? Sarah's voice trembled with anger. People gasped, whispering. Both sets of parents had been informed earlier and sat calmly. I took the microphone and asked Sarah, Sarah, did you come to the wrong place? Your groom should be him. I pointed to Mark, still in a white suit behind her. Both of them turned pale. At my cue, the host started the music. The big screen showed moments of Sarah and Mark, all saved from Mark's posts the night before. For the past year, every time Sarah left me for Mark, taking care of him, Mark posted pictures visible only to me. It looked like showing off, but it was foolish, like now when she never imagined I'd expose her infidelity to everyone. People watched in shock, the scene chaotic. No wonder the groom is marrying someone else. Sarah cheated. But you can't conclude just by those. Maybe the man fooled her. Yeah, maybe. Sarah's usually well-behaved. Look at her expression. She seems genuinely unaware. As the photos played, Sarah's face paled. When she saw pictures from 10 days ago, delivering food to Mark, caring for him when sick, and trying on the dress with him the previous day, she couldn't hold back anymore. She turned red-eyed, questioning Mark. What are these about? Why couldn't I see them? Mark, feigning innocence, pursed his lips, shaking his head. Sarah, I was just keeping a record. I don't know how Nick saw them. Though an excuse, it stupidly hinted to everyone that they were visible only to me. I seriously have no idea. You've got to believe me. Watching him wail and deny, I laughed. Sarah, 10 days ago I gave you the last chance, but you still lied to me. The screen switched to Mark's social media post from 10 days ago. It was the one he posted late at night, the one where he took care of Sarah, giving her medicine. That day, Sarah had told me she waited until morning to call Mark over, but they clearly spent the whole night together in the same room. Mark even lay next to her, capturing a picture of them asleep. Everyone went nuts. Oh, sleeping with this guy before the wedding? That's disgusting. I support Nick. This has to be made public. If you dare to post on social media, be ready for everyone to see it. Sarah raised her hand and slapped Mark hard. A red mark quickly appeared on his soft white cheek. He held his face, about to cry. I never knew you were stirring things up like this behind my back. Nick, you gotta believe me. I never did anything with him. The one I love is you. Sarah dropped all her arrogance and pride. She anxiously tried to explain to me I only saw him as a subordinate and little brother. I pitied him, all alone in this city hustling, so I took extra care. I never had any improper thoughts about him. If I did, why would I agree to marry you? Her expression was sincere. A lot of people believed her. After all, it seemed like it was Mark, full of scheming, who was at fault. Sarah was not really involved. Is that so, Sarah? Can you forget your own words? I raised my hand, showing her chat history with her best friend on the screen. It was sent to me by her friend. 5 years in. Love is finally about to get a happy ending, huh? Aren't you happy, Sarah? Not really. It lacks passion. Maybe because Nick isn't young anymore. Stop! He's stuck by you from 22 to 27. Now you're saying he's old? Sarah, please tell me you aren't really into that young assistant. Sarah, boredom or excitement? Which would you choose? Marriage is love and responsibility. All excitement fades away. Don't make impulsive decisions and hurt Nick. Relax. As long as he doesn't argue with me about Mark anymore, I'll treat him well. Sarah's past chat with her friend was displayed for everyone to see. Her friend looked at her and shook her head with a sigh. Though they had years of friendship, she didn't agree with Sarah's actions. Her words were reasonable. Everyone praised her. They started to speak out against Sarah. Sarah's face shifted from white to gray. Her body began to sway. Mark stepped forward to support her. Sarah, Nick doesn't love you. If he cared, he wouldn't do this. He just wants to ruin you. Sarah steadied herself, thinking he was right. She regained her usual pride and confidence. Nick, I didn't do anything. Substantial to betray you, just talking big. I'm so successful, earning millions a year at this young age. I've supported you for 5 years and you get jealous over nothing. Can't I be a little annoyed? My work is tiring. I hate fighting. That's why I said those things, just venting. Her explanation was reasonable. Some people empathized again. Yeah, working hard every day to make money and then having a partner that's jealous all the time is tough for anyone. You can't have everything. If you're enjoying the benefits, you should be understanding and supportive in return. With people supporting her, Sarah put on a loving smile. Nick, I want to marry you because I don't want you to doubt and be hurt anymore. Stop this. Isn't it me who's been taking care of you the past 5 years? How are you going to survive without me? The more she spoke, the more confident she became. She was even touched by her own words. I forgive your behavior as long as you admit your mistake and continue to marry me. I won't hold anything against you because I love you. If you're worried, I'll fire Mark right away. Mark looked as if he had heard something unbelievable. Sarah, how can you do this to me? Ignoring his tears, Sarah shoved him aside and turned to me. Nick, is this enough? No more fuss. Let the drama end. Let's continue with the wedding. Watching from the side, Lisa finally wasn't happy. Who's part of the drama? I'm his wife, officially recognized. With that, she picked up a small red booklet beside her, waving it. It was the marriage certificate we got first thing yesterday morning. I guess I had to thank Sarah for wanting to use marriage to secure me, but was in no rush to get the paperwork done, which made things easier for Lisa and me. Seeing I was serious, Sarah was completely furious. Nick, I've supported you for 5 years, feeding you, housing you, and now you're turning your back for a wealthy woman. In the audience, her friends and family glared at me with disdain. Someone spoke up for her. No wonder you're eager to clear things up. Found someone richer, huh? Even a dog wouldn't turn against someone who raised them for 5 years. I saw my dad couldn't sit still anymore. Standing with his hands behind his back, he coldly said, Who's turning for money, huh? Sarah's eyes lit up. She hurried over, bent over in a bow. Mr. Chairman, you're here. When I sent the invitation, your secretary answered. I thought you wouldn't come. My dad gave a cold laugh, took his time, and said, It's my son's wedding. Of course I'm going to come. Sarah was shocked, and everyone looked at me. Sarah raised the chairman's son for 5 years, Don't talk nonsense. And wasn't it the chairman's money? Someone chimed in. My dad didn't deny the gossip floating around. Instead, he turned to Sarah and said, "Back then, 5 years ago, the executives wanted to fire you. They said you lacked people skills, recklessly charging ahead. It was my son who begged me to keep you, even got you a promotion and a raise. The deal was he would go abroad to find Lisa, but I never imagined you could capture his heart. He refused to go, even broke ties with us because of you. We only have one son, and his mom worries about him. That's why she pressured me to give you those promotions and raises over the years, so my son wouldn't feel slighted. But we never expected you to look down on him because of this special treatment. You really disappointed me." My dad gave a cold grunt, called his secretary over, and ordered her to remove Sarah from the director position, never to employ her again. Sarah staggered and fell to the ground, murmuring, "So that's how it is." She burst into tears. "Nick, you did so much for me. I was wrong." All her self-assured pride vanished. Sarah, pleading for my forgiveness, saying she still loved me. Lisa took my hand, looked sharply at her, and said, "He's my man. When did that become your place?" Her hand was warm, making my heart skip a beat. "Lisa, thank you." Last night, when I thought of this whole revenge plan, I was worried she'd disagree. After all, it's her big day. I was afraid the drama with Sarah might upset her, but she agreed, telling me she'd liked me since we were kids, always hearing from our parents that she'd marry me. She regretted choosing to study abroad, thinking if she'd stayed, Sarah would never have had the chance. She felt my pain from the past 5 years and wanted to get even for me. We're husband and wife. No need to thank me. Besides, those who betray sincere love deserve their comeuppance. As long as you're happy, our wedding is complete." Lisa smiled sweetly, picking up the mic. She looked at me softly and said, "The excitement is touching, but love and sincerity are more powerful." Sarah's face went completely gray. I felt my heart beat again, memories rushing back. The girl who always followed me around, her sweet smile overlapping with the present. "Lisa, I'll spend my life treating you well. That's my promise." Rose petals drifted from the sky. Everyone cheered. I made my lifelong vow in front of everyone. After Sarah was fired, she couldn't find work in the industry again. She was blacklisted. Back then, caught up in her ego, she had chosen a mansion for the wedding home, exhausting her savings and even taking a loan for renovations. Without a job, in a few months, she couldn't keep up with the payments. Mark was kicked out too, disgraced. He'd planned to oust me and take the position himself, not realizing my easy ride came from family. He had crossed me, and now he couldn't even afford a meal. He began to resent Sarah. If she hadn't crossed me and married me, he could have benefited a lot too. Sarah resented him even more. If Mark hadn't meddled, how could she have broken up with me? The two had nowhere to go, stuck in the mortgaged mansion trying to figure things out. Mark pretended to encourage her, but secretly moved Sarah's high-end furniture and luxury goods out. By the time she realized, everything valuable in the house was gone. She chose to call the police decisively. When Mark was caught, he had already gambled away the money from selling the stuff. During the police investigation, they found out he had gambling issues since college, even willing to sell his body for chips. After graduation, he set his sights on Sarah, who was hiring a male assistant, a role he fit with his looks and manipulative skills. He quickly won her favor, never predicting she'd stop short of crossing the line with him, all for ridiculous love. He plotted to upset me, hoping I'd walk away, but it was all in vain, landing him a 10-year sentence for theft. Sarah had it even worse. After paying the loans, she didn't have enough money to live on, living a life of humiliation, always pointed at wherever she went. Friends and family who knew her kept their distance, avoiding her like the plague. Eventually, Sarah couldn't hold it together anymore. She tried to reach me but couldn't. Going to the company got her kicked out. Messages to me vanished without a trace. I had already deactivated all old accounts and numbers, wanting no further ties with her. Drunken nights were her norm, consumed with pain in the empty mansion. Memories haunted her, our dreams of a new home together, the promises I'd made. She cried out loud, collapsing emotionally. Finally, on Lisa's social media, she saw my life now. There were beautiful auroras in Iceland, breathtaking migrations in East Africa, luxury hotel stays by Greek volcanoes. I was holding Lisa, smiling blissfully. Lisa captioned, "Travel the world with the one you love most." That line hit Sarah hard. She remembered she had once booked 2 tickets to Iceland for our honeymoon. Frantically, she searched everywhere but couldn't find them, emotions collapsing entirely. "Can't find it. Nothing can be found again." While Lisa and I were dining at a posh French restaurant, my mom called. Sarah was dead. She said in the harshest winter, she slit her wrists in the empty mansion. When they found her, the blood under her head was frozen. Next to her was a piece of paper that read, "I'm sorry, Nick." Inside, I felt nothing. Speaking as much to my mom as to myself, I said, "Someone like her, even in death, pulls others down, unworthy of apologies." Lisa's warm hand held mine, her gaze soft. Outside, lights glittered, people clad in festive red for Christmas. Winters here are particularly romantic. My beautiful life was just beginning.